Coming up right now, an Ivy League school offering free tuition, but as always, there's a catch.
Also coming up, did you know Louis Vuitton has a chocolate shop in the middle of New York City? We're going to discuss it coming up.
All righty, and a little bit later, a woman making topless demands on the job site and why her male co-workers will probably support her.
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English. Welcome to Daily Flash, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We have got a great show set up. We have Matt Doolittle here.
Yes, and we have some great stuff on our website. Make sure you head to dailyflashshow.com. We have some preview reviews coming up where I dive into some of the stuff in entertainment and theme parks, which hopefully we are getting a sneak peek into soon. And
sounds epic.
It better be epic. And Sweet Baby James has all the behind-the-scenes content.
And James working the floor right now, getting our social media stuff together.
Make sure you're all timed out too. Make sure we're on time.
We're on time. We are on time.
On time.
All right, on time indeed.
So there was a recent thread on Reddit talking about what do you notice the most when you go over to a friend's house?
Okay, I would say the cleanliness, I guess, is the best.
Number one.
Yeah, okay.
Number
Their
one on the
bathroom.
list. The bathroom.
Bathroom is a
that
big
was
deal.
tops.
Yep.
People say your visitors will likely spend more time in the bathroom looking at everything that you
will.
have in your bathroom.
Stealing your drugs.
Well, what are you going to do in there, right? You know,
It is easier.
that
and
is
cheaper,
much
too.
easier. Less judgmental too. But they notice everything from the dust bunnies that have collected in the corner to how gross and dirty your countertops may or may not be. And of course, like they look at areas where you would probably not think about cleaning.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I
So-
always judge based on how I can't smell their pet.
That's
yes.
something
Like we
too.
spend
Yeah.
extra money on that pretty litter so
Yeah.
it doesn't smell because I've had friends with cats and the minute you walk in you go cats.
Yes, odor is a big part of it. Dirty dishes in the sink.
Oh,
If there are
cannot-
dirty, me neither.
Cannot stand that.
Cleaning up after your pet, the smell of your home, we're also on the list. And we should also mention decluttering. If your place is completely cluttered, if it's chock full of stuff, that's something that also catches people's
You know,
eye.
the dust bunnies in the corner, those things that you mentioned about that, is like,
Yeah.
obviously, it's those things you can't look at, but I guess we are such a judgmental society of who we are.
Yes.
We're like, okay, well, how deep did they clean? Or did they just clean up just for me? I would imagine
Yes.
that's why you're looking at that sort of thing. But even still, you have to realize, they come to your house, they're going to be looking at the same thing. It's stuff that
Exactly.
you might overlook.
Do you wear slippers, or are you asked to take your shoes
Yeah,
off before
in
you
my
enter
house,
a home?
yeah.
Yes.
Take the shoes
Before you
Always.
walk in Mitch's house. That
Take
is
the
that
shoes
is.
off.
Yeah.
I'm
believe
Mr.
it's
Rogers. I have like sets of shoes that I have to put by outside the door, every door.
And your smoking jacket, is that what
That's what I look. Yeah, I do have some. I should get a smoking jacket.
You
That's a good
should.
idea.
Door handles also say a lot about how clean a person is. Do you have dirty door handles?
And it's not necessarily the handle. It's right above it
Above
and
it.
below it. It's all that
Yes.
dirt because you usually grab
Because
it.
if you open the
You
door
know what I'm
or
talking
you
about.
push it open, then there's like dirt and handprints on the door.
Oil sticks to that paint really
Yeah.
bad, so yeah.
Don't ignore the small crevices in your home. Your friends will notice. Even dust on the top of the refrigerator. I know it's weird, but people notice those things. Yes?
It's a place that you don't clean
clean.
a lot. You don't
So
think
I
about.
only have short
Yes.
people come to my house
My
because
wife-
they can't look on top of the fridge.
See, my wife's super short, and I see all this stuff,
Yes.
and I have to clean it because she didn't realize
See,
it.
what about a smelly fridge though? You open the
That's
fridge,
Yes.
you're
that's
like,
Odors are a big part. That's definitely.
You're walking in somebody's house, open up their fridge.
yeah, I gotta get a beer.
What's in your fridge? Yeah.
I'm all about that, especially like in our workplace. I think it says a lot where you're at,
Yeah.
it just kind of tells you, it sets this, and it might not even be that way. And then you have people that say, you're if you are unorganized, you're smarter. So those people, have you heard about
I've
those
heard that
before?
and I've never bought it.
I don't like it.
buy
either.
it.
I feel so much
Yeah.
better when everything is in its order and I feel clean. And
Decluttered, clean,
and
organized.
smell is a
If you-
big thing.
If you see my
is-
closet, I'm Steve Jobs then, with all the unorganized things except for the shoes.
Well, Steve Jobs only had a
Had a
black shirt,
yeah,
jeans, and shoes. So,
Yeah, that's it.
so it makes a lot of sense.
So you can have 20 black turtlenecks and 20 pairs of
So
jeans.
don't judge. A little hint, here's what you do. If you have a party, buy marbles.
Yeah.
You put them in the medicine cabinet. That way, when they open up, all the marbles come out, and you know that they listen.
The setup.
And it teaches that person a lesson, but also go, well, Jackson was in my medicine cabinet.
Guilty as charged.
So look at that. Let's jump into some trending stories out there. We go now to Harvard, where the university is now offering free tuition for students from families with annual incomes of $200,000 or less. Now, this new plan is actually going to enable about 90% of the United States, to families at least, to qualify for the Harvard financial aid. Undergrad students from families with annual incomes of $100,000 or less will also have their tuition covered, as well as housing, food, and health and care services. Now, according to Harvard's website, the annual tuition is about $56,000, but when you factor in the cost of living, it's actually closer to about $82,000 a semester.
Oof,
Harvard enrolls about 24,000 undergrads each year, and about 55% of them must use some kind of financial aid to attend the university. And if you go into the coffers of some of these universities, some of them have, and I imagine Harvard is one of these, they have billions and billions of dollars just sitting there, and then they invest in endowments and that sort of thing. So, and then you wonder why they're now offering this when this is a university's been around forever, and I'm certain there's some kind of tax benefit for it, which, okay, I'm fine with.
Yeah. I have a problem, though, when they're saying, look, you're going to have to pay us $100,000 a year to attend our school. These people take out student loans, they finance their life to the hilt, and then they've got these billion-dollar endowments. Why aren't they supplementing these educations? And maybe this is a turning point. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
They need to take some of that money out there where they and I'm sure there has to be something, a loophole tax where they can do it. I mean, it sounds great and it's awesome. I mean, if you want a Harvard education, I imagine a lot of Harvard folks would go, is this going to water down our alumni? You know what I'm saying? Because now because it's such a prestigious college.
Right.
And not everybody can get in.
And then the question is, who gets in? Like, even though you're coming from a family that makes less than $100,000 or $150,000, that does not guarantee that you'll get an entry into Harvard.
It's still based on the grades, right? At the end
It's
of the day,
supposed to
money, that's just money. It still should be based on the grades.
I think a performance
It should be based on merit.
Doing it in the community.
And merit's the best way
Merit
to
should
say it,
be. And the other issue is, here's my solution. If you want to go and get yourself an Ivy League education, just say you went to Harvard, just go to the gift shop and buy a hat.
Buy the sweatshirt.
I went to
Fake it till
Harvard.
you make it?
Yeah. Did you go to Harvard? I did. You're not
know.
lying.
I do know, like...
I did go to Harvard. I bought a hat.
That's true.
It's cheaper.
Harvard and MIT, they also offer, check this out online. There's a lot of online courses they offer for absolutely free.
Yes, and then you can also
You
say
can also
you've
say, I
gone
went to Harvard.
to
You can wear a hat.
You can say that you're a Harvard dropout.
Yes.
That's actually get you there for you're a Harvard
There you
dropout.
go.
And look where you are.
And look where you are. Here you are. Did you know Louis Vuitton has a chocolate shop in the middle of
I did not know
York
this.
City? Me neither.
It's very cheap chocolate, I'm sure.
They are introducing a luxurious new chocolate collection for Easter. It's crafted by a fancy chocolate person. The Louis Vuitton chocolate offers a delightful array of treats inside, by signature codes from classical bars to whimsical creations. It's even introducing new products like this Vivian chocolate assortment box featuring a heart over her eye for Valentine's Day, and the box of candy goes for a ridiculous amount of money. $35 and up just for a single chocolate, $382 for the hand of the Vivian on the trunk there. So there you go.
So there you go, what you're looking at there. And and you're just going to eat this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so like you give this to a girl, like, here you go, it's this $400 worth of chocolate. You better eat it and eat it.
She's like, I don't like chocolate.
I don't like chocolate.
There's no return on investment there.
No.
Right.
None at all.
None at all.
Other than you could say, oh, well, if you're going to buy chocolate, you buy Louis Vuitton chocolate as well. A female trade worker has called out the double standards when it comes to men and women going shirtless on hot summer days. Now, she calls herself the bikini tradie, and we have a lot of applause here.
Yes,
and she's calling out her boss for saying it would be a distraction for her to work topless on a job site. Now, she doesn't see why it's such a big deal, since so many of her male coworkers go shirtless when the heat gets a little unbearable. However, I can tell you, these are not government jobs, because you got to wear, you got to wear all kinds of like hard hats and protective gear and that sort of thing. But does she have a point? She's doing a typical man's job. Should she be allowed to take off her top? This is you, Jackson. So because you're like you're surrounded by all guys working with it all day.
We've lost every single guy in this room. They are all fixated on the
Women's
screen.
rights. Yes.
Now look, she can't complain when she gets catcalled if she's on a construction site.
What?
Would you want him out like that? Though? That's the thing.
Yes.
Well, the guy, but for a
Yes.
female, is
I
Women's
would
rights.
not. No, I would not want my, everything out there while I'm attempting to put together a frame on a house with lots of equipment.
Feminism is real.
It's so weird because it's a society thing.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think. I think she should be covered.
She should be covered. And wearing a bikini top to do construction work? Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. Home sales across the country continue to ebb and flow. So who is feeling the pinch right now? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Joining us to talk about it is housing market expert and COO of Unlock, Michael Micheletti. Michael, welcome to Daily Flash.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Let's first talk about interest rates because they really drive the housing market. Interest rates for home loans have remained pretty high within the last 4 to 5 years while home prices continue to rise. How are these high interest rates and home prices impacting affordability, especially for a first-time home buyer?
Well, interest rates, thankfully, have started to come down just a little bit in the last 4 to 6 weeks. So perhaps a little bit of relief for possible home buyers that are entering the market. And with everything inside of residential real estate, it's always about location, right? So certain markets, we're seeing home values come down a bit. So places like Austin, Phoenix, parts of Florida, there are deals you could say to be had. Outside of maybe San Francisco, parts of Southern California and the Northeast, where prices continue to remain elevated.
Let's talk about the effect this might have on someone who is selling their home right now. What are you seeing trend-wise?
Well, I think the era of multiple offers, multiple bids on a property, especially in certain markets, are coming to a close because of those interest rates and because home values remain extremely elevated. So for those home sellers that are out there, you may want to require a little bit more patience than what you probably would have seen in the past.
We talk about foreclosure rates sometimes when the market starts to change. Have they started to tick up after historic lows?
So foreclosure rates, certainly we've seen tick up just a little bit here in the last 6 to 12 months. They still remain at historic lows. I think a lot of times we see some fear mongering around this.
Yeah.
Where you start to see foreclosure rates tick up or mortgage delinquencies start to tick up a little bit. But overall, the housing market remains very, very healthy.
I think when it comes to investments, everybody is really shy of having that 2008 experience once again. So what sort of signs should we be looking for as an investor if we're looking to purchase real estate?
Let me just address the 2008 part of that first before I get into the investor part of it. Is 2008, obviously it was a generational event that happened, and coming out of that, there were lots of regulations that were implemented. Dodd-Frank, the birth of the CFPB, and other things to help mitigate those types of events in the future. So it's really about the loans themselves and making sure that a lender and a borrower are on the same page when it comes to buying a home. So you don't see too many of the loans that we had back in 08, 09 that ended up defaulting. The foreclosure activity that we're seeing today directly tied to the macro conditions that many Americans are undergoing right now. I think we've all seen it when you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas pump. Home, it's not just about the home being expensive, it's our day-to-day life expenses also have gone up.
Yeah, and you factor in homeowners insurance and all of those other expenses. Let's talk a little bit about the rental market right now. It has seen some cooling off across the country. How does the rental market impact the housing landscape? And again, what are you seeing trend-wise in the rental market?
So you're seeing people not move as much. It comes down to that, right? You have elevated costs around home buying, but at the same time, rentals have stabilized for many, many Americans. That's because people are just simply not moving right now. And that's also tied to the economy, just generally speaking. We're seeing, unemployment rates slightly tick up, and you're going to see that as we head into the later parts of the spring and summer, as businesses, the government, as acclimating to a new normal, if you will, when it comes to the macro conditions in the United States. And when that usually happens, people don't do a lot. They typically reduce their spending overall with just day-to-day expenses, but also factors into the housing market directly, where people just don't move.
Here in Florida, and I'm not sure if this is happening in California, if it's just so built out you're not experiencing it, but we've seen a huge increase in the construction of apartment buildings and condominiums. In the end, what does this mean for the current housing market as it stands? And from your opinion, is it better to rent or is it better to buy?
Once again, it depends on where you're at in the country, but we're certainly seeing a movement to higher density dwellings, right? So you just spoke about condos and apartments,
yeah,
right? The primary residence of a single family residence, not to say that it's going away, but in the spirit of certain areas of the country, high density dwellings just make more sense for those areas in the country. Florida would be a prime example of that. Other areas where you have much more land space and other things, you continue to see single family residence being built. We're at a bit of a pivot point in terms of the housing stock in itself, right? I think everyone is aware that we don't have enough housing stock for the supply and demand part of that residential real estate. But is that turning from a single family residence, which is, when you think about the American dream, it's not to own a condo or to own an apartment. It really is about the white picket fence, Americana. And are we seeing a change in that American dream?
Yeah, and I'm wondering too, this is kind of an offshoot, but when it comes to vacation rentals and people buying that extra property, is that a worthy investment, or is it better to kind of hang tight and be patient?
Well, I cannot give out investment advice because that would be against the rules, but you can see how people feel about this through the lens of, you could use an Airbnb as a proxy for how people are feeling about rental properties, vacation properties, and these kinds of things, is that there's been a pullback in that. And this is tied directly, once again, back to the macro conditions, right? People are not going to be traveling as much this summer, for sure. And because of that, Airbnb, any of the other rentals types of properties that are out there, or the services that provide that, are also going to see a bit of a pullback.
Michael, great insight. Thank you so much. For more information on the housing market, you can head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. It's time for us to check in with Tony Toscano to find out what's coming to Hollywood and straight to your screen, no matter what size you're going to watch it on. With the latest, everybody, here's Tony.
Thanks, Mitch. In selected theaters is the political drama Rule Breakers.
We are looking for 4 girls who would like to learn about robotics and compete with teams from other countries. It'll show Afghan girls in a new light. Are you interested in joining our team?
You're the robot lady. How fast do these robots go?
You get to drive them in America.
It's dangerous to talk about girls doing this.
It's dangerous not to.
In a nation where educating girls is rebellion, a visionary woman sparks hope and opposition. Their courage ignites a movement that could transform their nation forever. I chatted with stars Nicole Bashiri and Amber Afzali.
In many ways feels like a sports film. This is a team, and yes, it takes one person to create a ripple of change, but after that, it takes a village, and it takes a team, and I hope that it inspires people to also lean on the people around them, lean on their communities, uplift their communities, and it's something that Roya is still doing to this day.
It is gut-wrenching and heartbreaking to see the differences, but I hope Roya is still doing the Afghan Dreamers team outside of Afghanistan. She's still working with Afghan refugees. She's still pursuing opportunities for education for young girls in Afghanistan. So she's making her mark, and I'm sure there's other crannies of hope too.
Rule Breakers is a wonderfully inspiring story about overcoming cultural stigmas and the walls that many people face. Again, Rule Breakers is playing in selected theaters and gets an A. It's rated PG. Also in selected theaters is the action comedy Novocaine.
Last night was amazing.
Oh, oh! Get on the ground! Open the vault!
God, what am I doing? I just want to know where Sherry is.
You ever fired a gun before?
When the girl of his dreams is kidnapped, a man incapable of feeling physical pain turns his rare condition into an unexpected advantage to rescue her. We caught up with Jack Quaid and Amber Mid-Thunder at the LA premiere.
I got to sneak into a couple of early screenings, and everybody was like, it's a mixture of like nervous laughter and whatever this noise is, like a lot of that. So it's going to be really surreal to see with the crowd. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm so excited. You know, I mean, you work on a movie. We were in Cape Town filming this movie, I think, like over a year ago. So it's so funny and weird, I think, to feel like it's finally here and we get to like share it. But you know, it's so much fun and it's just such a crazy, silly movie with so much cool action, and I'm excited for everyone to see it.
Novocaine is a wickedly funny action comedy that will have you engaged from beginning to end. See this one on a big screen. Again, it's in selected theaters and gets an A. It's rated R. For the Daily Flash, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
Welcome to another edition of Bright Side. These are a few stories on the positive side of news, if not the bright side. We go first to Baltimore, where Dr. Michael Zollicoffer, aka Dr. Z, has been treating patients for nearly 40 years, often for free, and actually giving out his personal number to anyone who needs it. Now, when he was diagnosed with renal and rectal cancer, but he couldn't afford the treatment due to a Medicare paperwork error, the community that he has served for decades actually stepped up and raised over $100,000 to cover his care. Now he's on the mend, but Dr. Z says that he plans to give any leftover funds right back to the people who saved him. His take, and he says, quote, "I'm the happiest man on the planet, no matter what the outcome." Aww. What a great way to look at life.
Love that. Well, we want you to meet Bally Cinnamon Daniel. She's a 22-year-old guard from Lesley University who is redefining the game of basketball. She was born without a left arm. Bailey recently became the first one-armed woman to score in an NCAA Division III basketball game, proving that determination trumps everything. After being cut from her high school team, she didn't just sit on the sidelines. She emailed hundreds of coaches, landing a spot at Lesley and helping lead them to their best season in 14 years. Bailey's story isn't just about basketball. It's about shattering expectations and inspiring others to chase their dreams, no matter the obstacles.
Wow, that's great. It's really hard to even score a layup or two on. And finally, imagine a world where your t-shirt does more than just make a fashion statement. It monitors your health. Researchers at Sapienza University in Rome have designed a sensory t-shirt that tracks vital signs like EKG, heart rate, and body temperature for patients recovering from cancer surgery. Worn under the clothes for about 2 weeks, 3 times daily, this high-tech garment transmits data to an app, allowing doctors to keep a virtual eye on patients. It's a game changer in post-op stuff. I mean, this type of technology coming out is a real advantage to everybody with these issues. So it's great stuff.
Love it. Really cool stuff.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash. Today's trends, tomorrow's talk.
So glad to have you here. We are got a great show still rocking and rolling for you, and we have another airline story I've got to share with you.
Goody.
It happened 30,000 feet. All right, so 2 guys were traveling into Houston from Tulum, from another country, and one is an Orthodox Jewish passenger, which I guess plays a little bit part in this. So he's with his buddy, and he goes, "Look, man, I don't know. I got a hold of some bad meat. I don't know. I'm going to go and go back to the lavatory, right?" So he goes in the back, and he does what you can imagine you do in the back. And 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes goes by, 15 minutes goes by. Finally, about 20 minutes, he's in the back, and the flight attendant's like, "Hey, you need to get out of here." All right. Guy says, "No, I'm not done yet. I haven't snipped it off yet, so chill out." So she goes back I'm sure that's what he said.
I'm sure.
So
yeah.
she goes back to the guy, his buddy, who is sleeping, wakes him up and says, hey, you need to go get your buddy out of the bathroom. So the buddy goes into the back, knocks on the door. Hey, man, you go, hey, man, leave me alone. Which is like, first off, nobody wants to be bothered in the bathroom.
No.
At this point, it's now 20 minutes that he's been in there. He stays after 30 minutes in the bathroom. That's when his friend to go up. And they said, listen, you got to get out of there. And the guy, all right, guy said he's coming out. He doesn't come out. He's in there for a half hour. Flight attendant gets the pilot.
Oh, my goodness.
Pilot goes in, opens the door, picks the guy up and takes him out. And the guy's sitting on the toilet.
Excuse me.
God and everybody saw everything that God gave him in first 3 or 4 rows. And then when they landed, they came and arrested he and his buddy. His buddy's guy's sleeping, right?
Oh my goodness!
So obviously now there incident. It went from Mexico into Houston, and they say that now there's legal action that's going to happen against United Airlines. It was a United Airlines flight, as well as the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. They declined to comment on obviously exactly what happened. But 30 minutes, I admit, is a long time. But if the guy is sitting there going, hey, look,
Yeah.
And then when you open the door and the guy's sitting on the toilet, he's actually doing his business.
I can understand the safety concerns, obviously, with so much concern in the air. Being locked inside of a bathroom for more than 20 minutes would be a red flag. But for him to be pulled off the toilet with his trousers
down, everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I say.
Sounds to me like nothing was coming out.
Right. Well, and that's what bothers me, because you just came from Mexico and they got Montezuma's Revenge. Something totally different.
Give him a couple minutes.
And now here's what the whole time when I first heard this story, the whole time I thought is like, the guy didn't even get to finish his paperwork, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, and then you get that feeling you have. Yes, I'm suing just because of that.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, these things are happening. Of course, this is his version of it. We'll find out in court exactly what truly happened.
I can't believe that they arrested his seatmate too.
I don't know if it's because maybe he might have
done something else, or
he might have
threatened him or something.
Maybe they were
jumping into the argument and saying, "Hey man, no, what are you doing?" Like, first, I would not be in a good mood. You woke me up if I was sleeping.
Well, there's that.
And that happened.
And then I would not be pleased if you pulled me off the toilet with my pants down. That would be an issue.
Well, one of the biggest problems they're having on planes right now is people vaping in the bathroom. So maybe they thought he was in there. Because they were really adamant on my last flight about do not do this.
And that's fine, and I buy that. But when once the pilot opened up the door and saw the guy, hey man, what are you doing? I'm doing my business here. They go, oh, okay. Well, you need to hurry it up. Snip it short and go. So think about that. I don't know. I mean, I do know that we all feel like we have to have there's a feeling that people feel that they have to have special privileges now when they fly because they pay more. Yeah. But this is not one of those. I would love to see where this winds up in the story.
I guess it's a question of whether it crosses the line of safety and concern, red flags, versus, okay, the guy's just having a bad bowel movement and we need to give him some space.
So we'll think about that. All right, your thoughts on it. We would love to hear. Flash@dailyflashshow.com is our email address. Of course, you can go to our website, dailyflashshow.com. Hit on the sound off button. We got more Flash, don't we?
Yes, we do. Stay with us. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to Daily Flash. It is time for a little relationship refresh. Yep, our next guest knows a thing or two when it comes to love.
She sure does. She's here to actually tell us how we can keep that spark alive in long-term relationships. Hopefully everybody will get to at this point, so we'll need this information. Please welcome love and relationship expert Odette Coronel. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm really happy to be here. Excited to talk about my favorite topic, love, and how to keep that spark alive.
Well, we're excited to learn about it because, like I said, we all hope to be in a long-term relationship with somebody at least. You say that you're kind of bringing sexy back when it comes to keeping the spark alive. What's your approach?
Well, the first thing is to remember that all couples go through different stages and relationships naturally evolve. So what once kind of started as something that's exciting can really start to feel routine over time if we're not intentional about keeping the spark alive. And we got to remember that this happens because desire really starts in the brain. So in the early stages of love, our brains are flooded with dopamine and oxytocin and those feel good chemicals that create excitement and attraction. But as we settle into long-term commitment, routine replaces novelty and responsibilities increase. Couples unknowingly shift from romantic partners to co-managers of life. So it's usually not one big dramatic event. It gradually happens little by little over time when we stop prioritizing our partner. But the first step is to really remember that we need to prioritize the relationship with ourselves, reignite our own spark, and prioritize our relationship. So I usually start, you asked, my approach is really about prioritizing your own spark and then going into the relationship.
Okay, Odette, when it comes to one area where couples struggle the most, oftentimes it's the bedroom. So what are some of the biggest challenges that they do face in this particular area?
That's a very good question.
And how do you resolve them? What's the best approach?
Absolutely. That's a great question because intimacy in the bedroom is often the first thing to suffer when couples feel disconnected. And often couples will either have sex less often or even stop having sex altogether. But desire really is not just physical. There are other challenges that happen that lead to this. Things like stress, mental load. If we have chronic stress, that can significantly lower sexual desire, especially in women. So when one or both partners are feeling overwhelmed by work, parenting, finances, other life demands, intimacy often takes a back seat. Another thing to keep in mind are hormonal changes and medical issues. Things like menopause, perimenopause, testosterone decline, all these things affect intimacy in the bedroom. And physical intimacy really starts with emotional intimacy. That's what it thrives, right? So we have to make sure that couples are communicating openly and that misunderstandings and resentment are resolved, because it's hard to be vulnerable in the bedroom when you're feeling emotionally disconnected. Also, things like routine and predictability. When intimacy becomes predictable, it can lose its excitement. And it's not just in the bedroom, it's also having novelty outside the bedroom and making sure that we're continuing to create little sparks in small ways together. Another issue is mixed match libidos. It's completely normal for partners to have different levels of desire.
Right.
But if it's not talked about openly, that can lead to frustration and even feelings of rejection. So you want to make sure that you are speaking openly and honestly about these issues.
All righty, fantastic. And if folks want to find out more information and maybe reach out to you, where can they find you?
They can find me on my website, odettecoronel.com, or follow me on Instagram at Odette Coronel Coaching.
Right. Odette, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, if you've missed any part of this interview, we'll have it for you on our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Stick around. We have more of today's Trends, Tomorrow's Talk right after this. Hey, shake off those winter blues and welcome spring with fresh ideas for your tech life at home. Digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong joins us to help you revitalize your digital life. What do you have for us, Mario?
Hey there, and thanks so much for having me on the Daily Flash. And yes, I've partnered with some great brands to give your tech a little spring makeover. So let's start with a refresh for the home. The Anker Solix F3800 Plus. This is a game changer for home backup power because it charges faster with solar and now works with gas generators to keep your home running during long outages. With enough power, by the way, to run big appliances like fridges, air conditioners, washers, it's perfect for blackouts or emergencies. Plus, you can expand the battery to power your home for days, so you'll have no more worrying when the lights go out. It's Fraud Prevention Month, and your World or World Elite MasterCard is working to keep you safe. Now, cardholders get complimentary ID theft protection, which monitors your credit and alerts you to any suspicious activity in real time. Plus, when you shop with MasterCard, zero liability protection ensures that you won't be responsible for fraudulent purchases, whether that's done in-store, online, or by phone. It's all about giving you peace of mind, knowing that your card has you covered. This is the best printer upgrade, the Epson EcoTank ET3850. It's fast, it's affordable, and it's easy to use printer for really busy families and home offices. I have an EcoTank. I love that they use high-capacity ink tanks, not small cartridges. So when this comes to you, it comes with a ridiculous amount of ink in the box, by the way, and you can print colorful pages stress-free. Plus, it has wireless, auto two-sided printing, a built-in scanner, copier, auto document feeder. It's perfect for home and work. Time for a health reset? I got you covered. The Amazfit Active 2 smartwatch is designed for fashion-conscious, health-focused people who value style and functionality, and it delivers. You get up to 10 days of battery life, precise heart rate and sleep tracking, 160-plus workout modes, including high rocks race and strength training, and the Zep app, it gives you deep health insights. Plus, you can log your food with the camera to track meals, and with offline maps and GPS navigation, it literally keeps you on track. Upgrade your laptop with the Asus ZenBook Duo. This is a game changer for multitaskers. Look at this. I love that you can stick with the classic laptop mode or expand your workspace with dual screen mode or use sharing mode for easy collaboration. And at just over 3.5 pounds, it's thin, portable, comes with that detachable Bluetooth keyboard, built-in kickstand so you can set this up anywhere, and it's got all-day battery life with up to 13.5 hours of video playback, which is perfect for work or for fun. You'll enjoy that for sure. For more information about everything I talked about, just head over to our website, inthenews.tv.
And now a better way to communicate with your kids when it comes to gaming.
Hi, I'm Jason, Editor-in-Chief of Verizon's Parenting in a Digital World, here to share tips for raising healthy young gamers. But first, this message.
This video is brought to you by Verizon. Life is full of choices. Make it easy by bundling your mobile and home internet at Verizon. Scan the QR code at any time to discover your savings.
Our advice, first play the game yourself to see if you're comfortable with aspects of the game. If so, watch your child play to get a greater sense of how the game works so you can talk about it together. Second, create a gaming agreement with your child to set the right rules and explain what's behind them. Make sure you check out the parenting controls to set time limits, manage chat features, and in-game purchases. Finally, this is the first generation where the majority of parents grew up gaming, so why not join them and see if it's an experience you both enjoy?
You want to play?
Yeah. Gaming can improve creativity, strategy, and problem-solving skills, but parents still have to parent. For more research-based and parent-proven tips, visit verizon.com/parenting.
Leading dental expert Dr. Ashley Bowling is joining us to discuss the #1 chronic disease in the United States. And believe it or not, it's actually tooth decay. How's it going there, Doc?
So preventative dental care is really important. We want to make sure that patients are getting in at least twice a year, and we want to catch things sooner. So small cavities and earlier stages of gum disease are easy to address. It's going to be less expensive, less painful, and a more enjoyable experience for our patients. The dental technology that we have in Aspen Dental offices has really made that a lot easier for our patients to be able to not only get into the office, making that new patient appointment at aspendental.com and getting in, but it's going to make our denture process a lot easier. So we have our new Signature Elite dentures, and they are just beautiful. They're so comfortable, natural looking. Our on-site denture lab makes it easy for us to customize our dentures for our patients, and you're going to get them in days, not months. We make it a lot easier for our patients to get what they're looking for with their dentures. And then implants, that's a really big game changer for dentures. If you're able to get those implants placed, those dentures are going to snap in and securely fit your mouth. So it makes talking and eating and chewing a lot more enjoyable and easier. And then as far as overall health, your mouth is the gateway to your body. There's a lot of blood vessels in your mouth. So if you do have things going on like cavities, abscessing, gum disease, it's a lot of bacteria traveling throughout, and it can increase your chances of heart disease, dementia, stroke, diabetes. It also can negatively impact pregnancies. So it's really important that if you want to be healthy overall, you do need to prioritize your oral health. And then at Aspen Dental, we're just going to make it easy for you. Like I said, at aspendental.com, make that new patient appointment. We have over 1,100 offices throughout the country, and we try to stay open on weekends, and hours are extended throughout the day, so you can get in before work or after work, so you don't have to worry about missing out on your normal life. So make an appointment, aspendental.com, and we will get you in and get you healthy.
Hey, we're not done with this hour, are we?
I don't think so.
No.
Much more of today's trends, tomorrow's talk.
Absolutely, and we want you to be involved wherever you are, social media, website. You can go to our website, dailyflashshow.com. There you'll find all the information we talk about here on the show, and we're also on the socials from YouTube, from TikTok. We're also on the Instagram as well as Facebook. We would love to hear from you. Head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. And again, we have a sound off button on there where you can send us our messages.
The Insta, the Talk, the Facebook.
I love it.
We're
all
on
of them.
all of it. I love it too. It's great.
The Insta is what
the
I
Insta.
More Flash after this.
Hey, Mitchie.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, I want to talk about that big story coming out of Hollywood.
Hold on. Wait. I want to get Matt in on this call, all right? Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Mitch and Dias?
Matty!
Mitchie.
Mateus.
Mitch, my man.
Matty of Berkshire.
What's going on?
Hey, AJ wants us to talk about a big story that's happening.
This kid, the Kiki, says hi. He has his own Instagram.
That's great, Matt, but I really want to talk about this big story coming out of Hollywood.
Oh, dog and cat! It's
You should check it out. This kid, the Kiki.
I want to know what's going on.
What?
Oh, okay, so real quick. Why does he still have a dial-up modem?
Hey, I gotta get back to wrestling stuff.
It's on the media.
You know what? Maybe we should just try this later.
Okay, all right. Peace and love.
Daily Flash.
Where are you?
It's just better when you're part of the conversation. Join us online.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. It's the new docu-series that explores the shadowy world of child influencers. This is today's must-watch movie, or must-watch series, I should say, Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing.
It's Piper, go! Piper Raquel is an incredibly popular child influencer.
This young lady's amassed more than 10 million followers on YouTube.
Piper's mother, Tiffany Smith, is the momager.
She took these kids to massive viral fame. It seemed so innocent, but it wasn't innocent at all.
Tiffany finds people who want to be famous. She takes advantage of them. Things can get very muddy when kids are making an obscene amount of money. At her peak, Piper's earning between $300,000 and $500,000 a month.
Young girls have very large numbers of adult men as followers.
Tiffany would direct us to pose certain ways, hugging a certain way in a clip.
Closer, 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 closer.
She would be like, over and over, sex sells, make it sexy. Smile, flirt with the camera. Here we go. Where's the line for Tiffany?
I was 17 years old. We were on my live stream, then the kiss happened. I woke up in the morning and it was gone. If someone could erase us from the internet, then what else could they get away with?
Everything was controlled by Tiffany.
We were filming like 10 to 15 videos a day.
Okay, action.
If you leave the squad, you're going to get blacklisted.
She would start hate campaigns.
It's like a cult or something, like you can't get out. You know all the consequences of even just crossing her.
You didn't hear the way she spoke to me.
People should be asking themselves, is it really okay for my child's vulnerabilities to be displayed to random strangers?
Pull yourself together! It doesn't matter what happened to us, as long as they got it on camera. I remember being so scared.
It's not just these kids. There's so many others. And if something isn't done, these won't be the last kids.
Wow. You know, you think of your childhood, I mean, it's so formidable years. That is not reality that you're growing up in at all. And then interesting fact, about 92% of them are men.
Yeah.
It's freaking scary. That does it for our show. Y'all take care. We'll see you when we look at it.